Hey guys, today I'm going to review the LEGO set 70831, Emmet's Dream House. This set has 706 pieces, originally went for $70 and was released in January 2019. So first, let's go over the minifigures. So first here is Emmet, and of course he has his planty, which is on a little base plate piece that can easily pop off because it does a little pot piece along with a plant stick inside of it. And you usually just put that on Emmet's hand, but it keeps popping off. He also has the E and L forever pillow, which is more of just a tile. It would have been better if they did like a 2x2, but I think that would have more looked kind of like a picture or something, so I can understand why they did it like this. It is kind of small though. I don't know. Maybe if they did a 2x3 tile. But in general, it's just a standard Emmet fig. Some scratch marks on it. This little name tag and this little hairpiece, and if you flip it around, it has more of a determined face on the back. So next here is Lucy. This is just a standard of her from the desert type stuff, and of course it has the main printing that they kind of used from the first movie. Of course they changed it around to have some desert printing to show her from the Apocalypse Berg. She has the goggles molded on her, and these have kind of a red tint to it. There's one of her expressions, the other one you have to kind of turn around. And her more of an angry expression also has this kind of cloth piece that's actually molded around the quiver, which is pretty cool. I actually want to see that cloth piece used more, especially in action themes like Ninjago, or maybe even seeing it in Star Wars for like Rey or something like that. I don't know, but a lot of cool molds on her. Next here is Angry Kitty, or just Apocalypse Kitty, I don't know how they call it. For some reason in this set they still use the older stand type piece that they used to do it for. Even though there's the newer pieces that they use for it, but I guess I don't know why they still use it. This also has a little hilt thing on here where you can hold a little weapon. You kind of just slide that on her. In general, she has two expressions. I'll show you the other part for that. The new tail mold is pretty nice where they hold it in some spikes. And of course, you also have just the legs and of course the printing they usually do for it. You can also make it look like she's sleeping using these two pieces here. One of them being kind of a sleeping expression, another one is being this tile type piece. So this is what it looks like if we're sleeping. Basically just put the head kind of on the tile piece like that. It's a really simple build, which I'll swap out of a couple of the pieces. And now the last figure here is Rex. This is him in a spacesuit. He of course has the helmet which has the printed R on it, which is really cool, making that exclusive piece. It uses the light green visor. Of course a nice hairpiece. You can two different expressions. The jetpack is a really simple build with some electric pieces, which I always like getting those. In general, it's a pretty cool figure. I like the new variant of him. So before we get to the actual house of the set, the main build, I'm going to go over the smaller little side builds that kind of make up the ship. So the main one here, well, not really the main one, just kind of one of the ones here is a laser pointer, which I guess you can attach to Wild Style or really any other minifigure. Basically just clip it on like that, and it looks like she's kind of pointing or shooting the laser. Used one of the spring-loaded shooter parts. Another little build here is just a little barrel, which has a stand on it. It has these two, I guess, light things here, little light batons, and then a cooler, I guess is what it's supposed to be. I mostly just put them in like that. You're not really, it doesn't really have you recommend you put them in there, but I just kind of do. Then you just have some barrels that are mostly empty. You have a little lid on it, two frogs on it, and that's mainly it for those two. Then is this little side build which you can move around. There's little points where you can move it. There's a lot more technic joints. You can move these up and down. They kind of come off a little easier than other parts because they use different types of hinge pieces that attach to each other, which is kind of weird. And they use these skeleton-like pieces. They also have a spring-loaded shooter. Of course, that probably fell out somewhere. It also has the binoculars seen in the film, which has one of the little sister spaceships. And in general, it's just kind of a little fence build. You also have this water tower, which you can move these legs. There's nothing in there. They recommend you putting some Technic bars in there, but I just took them out. You also have this laser, which is supposed to rotate, but just easily kind of comes off. Nothing shoots from there. You have a little tool and some basically just a bunch of random parts from the spaceship that they kind of plastered all over here along with these. So here's the build for the house. It's very small looking when you look around, but it is quite big when you open it up, which it opens up on two hinge pieces. Just the front of it has a picket fence, a classic Lego house type feel, a little flower by a window, the door, which is kind of an orange color, which you usually don't see, another window with some more flowers, and then a back side with these full windows, and then another window here. You also have the chimney, which kind of comes off like that. It's a nice, unique type of build that they usually do for that. And of course, the roof is made up of a lot of those kind of slope pieces that they kind of put together. I always like it when they do that for their Lego houses. And there's just a little cloth type thing there to kind of block off sun. A couple on the windows as well. This one kind of comes off like that, I guess you could say. Now, of course, the main part is you can open it up like that, and there's the whole inside. You can place Unikitty up there. There's a little picture of her because these are supposed to be little toys. This just reminds me of from Guardians of the Galaxy. It looks kind of like that. This was just a separate little build, but I just like to put it in here. Also, you have the inside, which has a little light, a picture of Emmet and Lucy, the lamp, and then a couch, which you can put both characters in. You really have to kind of squeeze them in though, because it really doesn't fit them all too well, but you can kind of fit them in like that. There's also this side, which is a kitchen, where you have some little utensils and plates, cup, and 2 chairs, along with a TV, which of course doesn't work, which I find is kind of funny. You can stick them in there. It's kind of hard because the plate's kind of in the way, but you kind of get the idea of that. You kind of stick one of them there. And they mostly have one of them without the regular chair, so they can put Lucy in this one. The only thing I don't like is that little Technic piece is showing. But that's because you have to use that for that. And for the one of the bills, you probably place some weapons or something up here, and the little window, of course, you can open up. So, overall, this is a pretty nice set. I do like this from the Lego Movie 2 sets. It is some really weird miscellaneous stuff. That's because you can build into a spaceship. However, for this review, I decided not to build that. It would have been really time efficient, so I decided not to do that. And of course, this is my favorite of the 2 builds, because in general, it's just a stylish kind of Lego house, and that's why I really like it. It's a typical Lego house, and they tried to do it in that style with some cool little features. So thank you guys for watching this video, and bye guys.